This dog is about to hear the pipe organ for the first time. She just heard it turn on. Okay, are you ready to hear it? I'm not sure she likes it. What do you think, Nova? What do you think? Look, everything takes time. You can't judge a book by its cover.
I love that video. Good evening, everyone. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you James Thomashour, our Executive Director.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth George. Pleasure to be with everybody, and welcome to our town hall meeting. That was a nice little intro from Wesley Hall on one of his TikTok videos. Perhaps you've seen it. He's got a lot of them, and a lot of them feature the organ, and I commend those videos to your attention. So let us get rolling, and it is my great pleasure to introduce the president of the American Guild of Organists, Eileen Hunt.
Thank you very much, James. I am deeply honored to be your president, and I'm very excited about the work of the AGO. We have so many exciting programs and initiatives going on. We had wonderful National Council meetings last week, and the energy and enthusiasm throughout the Guild is really remarkable. I'd like to thank our staff for organizing this town hall meeting, and they have a wonderful array of exciting material to present to you this evening. Thank you to all chapter and regional leaders for everything you do. You are the backbone of the Guild, and your work is essential to our organization. I'm delighted to be able to join you this afternoon, evening, for this wonderful session and the conversation to follow. Now I turn it back to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Eileen. Well, it's great to see so many people. I'm delighted that we have so many registered tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight. This is an opportunity. We're going to have a little quiz so that you can maybe learn a little bit more about where resources are located on the AGO website. And as I pose the questions, I want you to take a pencil and a piece of paper and just keep a tally of how many you know the answers to. And at the end of this quiz, then we're going to ask how many people got the answers right, the number of answers right. But we want to have fun with this, and then we really want to turn this into an open forum and really have an opportunity to hear from you about good things you're doing, things that may be worrying you, keeping you up at night, and maybe chapters can share some things that'll help somebody else. So let's get started. Question number 1. Where are the chapter leadership toolkits located on the AGO website? Voila, you are looking at our home page. And I want to thank Maury Castro because, as you can see, the chapters now have their own tab. We don't have to go looking for chapters under the membership tab. It's very easy. You can hover your cursor over the chapter's name and you will have the drop-down menu that takes you to other documents. You can click on chapter websites, get to the website, and of course, then open up the leadership toolkits. Where can you register for current webinars and review past presentations? Easy, right under the Education tab. Hover your cursor and you'll see a drop-down menu that includes webinars, recitals, and workshops. Where can I find instructions about how to update my officer roster and pull membership reports on OnCard? We are always getting questions about this. So We have a few answers for you. Is it at Elizabeth's house in Florida, on the AGO's YouTube channel, or in our chapter leadership toolkits? You are right. It is in the chapter leadership toolkits. And under management and governance, you can see how to update the officer roster. We also have a collapsible menu about everything you've ever wanted to know about OnCard. So again, really, we're urging you to go to the toolkits to get the answers to some questions, so you don't have to look all over the website. They'll be right at your fingertips. Where can I download a copy of the board team handbook? Well, option might be the Chapter Leader Facebook page, your public library, or the Chapter Leader toolkits. And I bet you're saying to yourself, she's going to say the Chapter Leader toolkits. And that's quite true. If you haven't had a chance to download this book, you can save it to your laptop or desktop. It's a really, really practical guide for working successfully as a team. This is not to be confused with the chapter leadership tool handbook that, kind of tells you what to do and when. This tells you why you're doing it, why it's important to work as a group, how to get over the difficult points of that may happen during a board meeting, how to get the board to come to consensus. And we're going to have a few webinars that are going to focus in on some of the chapters in this handbook, but I think it's one of the best resources, and I've sat on a lot of different boards that any board could use. Examples of chapter budgets and worksheets can be found in Eric Burke's office, maybe at John Dixon's home, or in the Chapter Leader toolkits. Well, I guess by this point you've guessed it. Yes, we have a finance tab under the Chapter Leader toolkits, where we have a wonderful webinar that Jeff Verkylen did, who is on our finance committee, the top 4 things your chapter must do to be financially responsible. And then we've also got a handbook that's a handout that's got, I want to say, 5 different samples of how you can do your budgets and your financial statements. So if you haven't guessed it by now, the toolkits have menus that are focused and support each chapter officer's position. Where can I find a membership flyer that has a place for me to include my own chapter's content and information? Yes, that's right. Under the recruitment collapsible menu, there is a flyer. And this is just a snapshot of it. It's got a little more information on it. But what you have to do in order to be able to enter information about your own chapter, whether it's the website, your Facebook page, your registrar, your membership coordinator, you have to download it and save it first before trying to change it. So please do that. And this is great. You can use this as a handout at your programs. And you can also send it out digitally to prospective members. So we think this is a pretty good resource tool for recruitment. All right, drum roll, please. Our IMIS, our new membership IMIS software, will be launched in 2023, 2024, or the 12th of never. And ladies and gentlemen, I proudly introduce to you the Chief Technology Officer of the AGO, Josh Freeman. Take it away, Josh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the town hall. I think the answer to that last slide is we're looking at next spring as a time for launching IMIS, although we may be looping some volunteer leadership into the project earlier than that. Sorry, I live near train tracks and sometimes trains go by. In any event, I'm here to answer any question. Not only am I here to answer any questions, but anytime anybody has a question about what we're doing vis-a-vis, an association management system and our migration to IMIS, or any other technical questions you might have about your websites or other things like that, I am open as a resource to take your questions and answer them for you. Who's next, Elizabeth?
I guess that would be me. I'm Felicia Ross, the Member Engagement and Chapter Support Manager here at the AGO. So let's bring you on to the next question. So, true or false, elections of new officers can take place whenever a chapter wants to? Drum roll. Oop, that went too far. Oh no. Okay. So false, the annual election of chapter leaders, both officers and member at large of the executive committee, must take place by May 31st of each year. So you have to be done by the 31st of May. All right, next question. True or false, the AGO bylaws require that a chapter have a dean, sub-dean, treasurer, secretary, registrar, chaplain, and 3 members at large. Yeah. So false, the bylaws state that a chapter only has to have 3 officer positions, the dean, treasurer, and secretary. So let's kick it on over to our next staff member, Eric Burke.
Hi, I'm the executive assistant at AGO headquarters, and our next question is about our careers section of the website. The question is, the AGO has created a guidebook for church musicians that covers conducting a job search, determining equitable compensation, negotiating salaries, reading between the lines of a job description, and guidelines for wedding and funeral services. Is that true or false? That would be true. And the picture of this document that you see on the screen, you can have for free in paper version, or you can see it on the AGO website. If we can get to our next screen, you'll see that under careers, you scroll down to career development support and find the Employing Musicians Handbook. And in this handbook, you will find lots of things to consider in maintaining, finding, or dealing with anything at your job in a religious institution. What you won't find are lists of salaries, wages, and charts of what you think you should be paid or someone else thinks you should be paid. We can no longer do that. So you'll find that this book has lots of ideas for how to create job descriptions, ideas for your agreement or contract, and ways to find out how you can negotiate for an equitable salary for your position.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, Molly Davey, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Education Program Manager. So I'm going to test your knowledge of competitions. What are the names of the performance competitions available for young organists, and where can you find this information? NIACOP and RCYO. Information about these can be found under the Competitions and New Music tab.
Oh.
Yep, you can forward that on to the next slide. True or false? NCOI is a spinoff of NCIS Las Vegas. If you said false, you are correct. NCOI is an acronym for AGO, the AGO National Competition for Organ Improvisation. As you can tell from the last several slides, AGO has lots of acronyms. For any of you who are new to AGO or need a refresher, I want to take a few minutes and share the full names. NIACOP is the National Young Artist Competition in Organ Performance. And as we learned from the last slide, NCOI is the National Competition in Organ Improvisation. NIACOP and NCOI take place in even-numbered years and culminate at the National Convention. In 2022, NIACOP and NCOI had their semifinal and final rounds held in conjunction with the Seattle Convention. RCYO is the AGO Quimby Regional Competitions for Young Organists, and chapters play a vital role. A quick overview. Between February and April of odd-numbered years, each of the AGO's 7 regions has 3 to 6 local chapter competitions. The winner of each chapter competition advances to compete in their respective regional competition, held the following summer in conjunction with the AGO Regional Convention. The 7 regional first-place winners become rising stars and are given the opportunity to perform at the AGO National Convention the year following their competition win, What an amazing opportunity for young organists. And it all starts with you, our chapter leaders. Since RCYO will take place in 2023, we are currently accepting applications for chapters willing to host a chapter competition. Technically, the applications for hosting were due October 15th, but I will keep the application form on the RCYO website page until the end of the month, just in case anyone on the Zoom has been inspired to host in the coming year. It is a sensational way to support and uplift the young organists in your community. Also, it's not too early to start planning for 2025. Please discuss the possibility of hosting a chapter competition at an upcoming chapter board meeting. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Well, Josh had trains in the background, and now I've got thunder and lightning. But I will let you in on a little secret, and you may know this by now, Molly, but I was on an Illinois Dean's meeting led by Larry Sharp on Saturday, and I do think it's safe to say that the Grand Rapids chapter is going to be participating. So we're excited about that.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna give this the next couple of slides to Eric Burke.
Okay, so you may have members of your chapters that want to do certification exams, especially service planning and colleagues seem to be the most popular. And where can you find the requirements for the 2023 certifications? On the website, we have the full requirements for all exams in exactly 12 locations. I know because I had to put them up there myself. But the easiest place to find them is right under the education heading on the certification menu option, and you'll see a gray button with red letters that says Complete Professional Certification Requirements for 2023. If anyone in your chapter is interested, show them where to go for that. And if they click on any of those links at the top for each of the exams, they can also find the gray button on those pages. You'll also want to know that there's a revised hymn booklet that everyone must use for their exams that require hymns. And the way to get that is to contact our certification administrator. We cannot post that publicly because there are copyright limitations on much of the material there that we can't share publicly, but we can share it with anyone interested in the exams to find out what's there or who need to prepare for them.
Thank you, Eric. So, we've got some discounts that people may not be aware of. We've got discounts to join the Church Music Institute as a member, the Royal College of Organists, the Royal Canadian College of Organists, and recently I negotiated with Sheet Music Plus a 10% discount for you to get. And what you do is when you check out, there's a special code that you'll see that you can enter. And you also get a 5% discount with one license. So how do you access all of these? Well, you need to log in to your into OnCard using your credentials, and under the tab that says Update Your Personal Information, that is where you will find all of the information, including the special code to use when you check out if you purchase anything on Sheet Music Plus. So one last thing that I'm going to promote, and I know a lot of people have been puzzled by this. We did one last month, and we had maybe 6 people come on and off. In an effort for our chapter leaders to really have more of an opportunity to talk, to collaborate, to brainstorm about ideas, to have some big, hairy discussions, as I call them, I've started chapter leader brown bag lunches where you can crunch, munch, and lunch together. And I know James was really worried because I had this scheduled for like 4 hours. And he said, I don't think anybody's going to stay on this for 4 hours. And no, the idea is it's 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So at 1 p.m., those of us on the East Coast might get on from 1 to 2 Central Time. Others might get on at a different time, ending with Pacific Daylight Time. We wanted to give you each the opportunity to get on when you might normally have your lunch hour and invite some chapters in your neighborhood, invite some chapters in your state, invite some chapters in your region, invite your regional counselors, invite your district conveners, get together and talk about the good stuff that's happening. Maybe share some ideas about programming. This is an opportunity for collaboration. We're going to try this a few more months. Probably not going to do it during December because I know you're probably going to be busy doing something else. But you don't know if something's going to work until you try it a few times. And I'm all about experimenting. So we're going to give this another try this month, and we'll see how it goes. And now I really, really want to open the floor up to everyone. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's keeping you up at night. Are you worried? Do you have concerns? Are there great things that you're so excited about that you want to share with others that your chapter has decided to do this year? And I've already seen some of those great things, but I don't want to tell them. I want you to be the ones to tell them. So is anybody willing to share something? Don't be scared. We're not being judgmental. Did I hear something? Okay. Well, I don't hear anybody asking any questions. That's a shame. All right, let's go back for a second I forgot to ask you at the end of the slides. Who got more than 5 answers right? Post it in the chat box.
How do you want people to reply, Elizabeth?
They can just put it in there. I'm not able to access chat. I don't know why. Let me see if I make the screen bigger. No, I see Q&A, but there we go. Okay. Chat. Okay. Anybody? Stephen Bartlett, how many did you get? Connor got 7. Okay. Mark Anderson, how many did you get? I know he got a lot of them. I know Mark got a lot of them. Janice Hawthorne, Tim, who's the sub-dean in Healdsburg up in Northern California, got 6. Excellent. Good. Edwin Ackerman, are you sure you're not pulling our leg? You mean you really got all of them? Okay, we need to come up with a prize then. I think what that means is, I don't know. Well, Felicia, we're going to have to think of something good to send Ed from our store, which, by the way, is going to get a little bit of an upgrade and a redesign. So stay tuned. We're going to have some stuff for sale there that I think you might really be interested in purchasing. So more to come about that. Any questions? Any questions at all? Felicia, do you see anything? I see lots of conversations going on.
Yes, we have some questions in the chat for our technology committee. So we have a question from Rana Davis. Is there any move afoot to have a hosting service that chapters can pay less money to have their website hosted?
Good question for Josh.
Yep. Josh, what do you think?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, good. You can hear me. Okay. I wasn't sure if my mic was on. That's a really good question. I do believe that. Here's the thing. IMS, our upcoming AMS, which is also going to replace our WordPress website, we will be able to have chapter pages on there, but I'm not sure that it's a system that will be able to sort of give rights to chat. It's not like WordPress where we can give people access to do editing of their own page. This is a really important question, though, and a really I can imagine that there's HQ could do a lot to make it a lot more affordable for individual chapters to be able to have their own websites. So I think what I'd like to do is sort of take this under advisement and speak internally for a bit with James and my other colleagues and come back with an answer that is it's a better answer than this.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Okay, Felicia, what else? What else?
Sure.
What else do
we have a question here from Kathleen Cooper. Will IMIS be an entirely new national site or only a replacement for the on-card portion? We are wondering if our chapter webpage will still be available.
We can, it's the same sort of thing. I'm sure that we can make a chapter web page for you, but it won't be like it is now on WordPress, where you have a username and password and you can go in and update that page yourself. That's just not how IMIS is an association management system that is web based. So it will be both a sort of a combination of OnCard but much more sophisticated than OnCard, and a website. And it'll be the sort of thing where, if people who just visit the site who are not members or maybe have never even heard of AGO, they'll see sort of a simple website that's like, this is the American Guild of Organists. This is what we're all about. This is how you can participate. This is how you can join. But they won't, and they can even put in their email address and join mailing lists and things like that. But at that point, they're not yet members, and they don't see all the member-specific content, or lists, or be able to do company. There's lots of things they won't see on the site. And then once you are a paying member, and then you have license to see additional content that's on the website. And then, of course, there will be other tools and things available for volunteer leadership and things like that. But it's designed specifically as an association management system that is web-based and will have web content. We are going to have to figure out what we're going to do for all of the chapters that currently manage pages on the WordPress site. But I'm sure that's something we can solve.
I would be remiss. I know we must have lots more questions, and I hope we do. But I do want to introduce J.W. Arnold, who is our marketing and communication specialist, because we've got some exciting things coming up that he and I have been working on. So, J.W., if you'd like to share some information, I know everybody would be happy to hear it.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. It's good to see everyone here on Notified tonight. Thank you for joining us. I've been involved just with AGO for about 5.5 months, so I'm still kind of learning my way around, but I'm also an organist, and so and I've been a member of AGO for quite a long time. We're working in several ways to upgrade and make our communications from AGO stronger and more effective. For those of you that are regular visitors on social media, you may have noticed that we've consolidated some of the many sites that AGO had maintained on Facebook. And so we now have the AGO Oregon Forum as our primary Facebook group. We're also out there now in Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn as well. So there are lots of methods to keep in touch with AGO and also share with other members. And so we hope that you'll check those out. At the end of each month, we send an email newsletter to all members, and you'll find all the links there. Also, we're working on an exciting branding project for chapters that we'll be rolling out hopefully soon. Many of you know that we've updated the branding for AGO in the last couple of years, and so the next step with that is to provide some guidance and some resources for chapters so that they can take that updated look that's kind of created especially for our digital age, and then apply that to your chapter communications and your websites and your newsletters and all that. But I think most importantly, I hope that you know that I'm here as a resource for your chapters. And should you find yourself in one of those kind of challenging situations, how do we promote this upcoming event? How do we get the word out within our community of musicians? I'm very happy to consult with you and work together to come up with a plan and possibly help with some of the implementation of that. Because really, at the end of the day, music it's a form of communication, and so we want to leverage that, and we want to use the other communication arts as well to get the word out and share. So please feel free to reach out to me. You can find my contact information on the AGO website, And also, when you get those emails from AGO Communications, just hit reply and it'll come right back to me. And I look forward to meeting you and working with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacob. Thank you so much. Okay, Felicia, back to any Q&A that might still be of interest.
Yes, sure. Leslie Robb asked, can you repeat how we access the one license discount, and if it's just for first-time subscriptions, or is it a 5% discount each year?
It's a 5% discount each year, and what you have to do is to log into OnCard with your credentials, and then you will see my personal information. Click on that, and you'll find all of the links to get the discounts. And the Sheet Music Plus has a code that has to be updated monthly because they're very, very strict about this only being available for members. And, we had a lot of this information for a long time just sitting there under why join. And it prompted me to think, we're giving away the store. This is good stuff that should be just for our members. This is a benefit. So that's why we have now password protected it. And as Josh was saying, there's going to be a lot more that's going to be password protected on our new website. I'd love, and I'm sure I will have the capability to be able to sell a webinar to a non-member who might want to participate in a webinar. But we're, some of these benefits are for you, and you're paying for them. So we want them just to be for you. Anything else?
Sure. Karen Billings asked if we will ever get tote bags back. And I would say, yeah, sure. That is one of the items that we're considering for the revamp of the shop. And next question, new topic. Can someone add clarity on how long is the term of board members? I believe the 2021 documents mentioned board members serve 1-year terms. Is this the recommended time, or are chapters expected to adhere to the 1-year term? Our present board is 9 members, each serving a 3-year term. That is, each year, 3 members go off the board and 3 new members begin their 3-year term. And I think we have some discussion about terms in the chat.
Yeah, as well. That is creative. That is creative. In fact, today I got an email, and they shall remain nameless, and they didn't realize this, but they said, well, our term begins in September and ends in August. I said, well, that's really interesting, but I don't think that's what our bylaws say. So first of all, your term as an officer starts on July 1st, and that's why we are constantly reminding you to update your roster before June 30th. Except let's be hopeful and think that maybe by June 30th of 2023, you won't be using OnCard. I'm just saying that. But chapters, for the most part, and James, you can chime in, I think they're either 1 or 2-year terms. It's rare that I've heard of a chapter board having people serving for 3 years. James, what do you think?
We have a document which is called the Model Chapter Operating Procedures, and it is on our website. It's actually nestled within the Chapter Management Handbook, yet another document. But I think it may also be a standalone document that Eric Burke would probably know where to find better than I can.
It's on the toolkits. It's located with the toolkits now. Yep.
So the chapter model operating procedures address this exact issue of the terms of officers. And my recollection pretty clearly is that it offers several options, and it doesn't say it must be one way or another way. It offers a few options. And so you can pick the option that you like in accordance with the traditions and the culture of your chapter, and then solidify it. So approve these chapter operating procedures for your chapter. And there's a paradigm for this. So, a process, which is to say that your executive committee reviews the model operating procedures, gets them just right for your chapter, sends them to AGO for a review, and then we bless them. And then you've got a permanent document that stipulates what exactly your operating procedures are. Eric has worked a lot with this. Eric, anything you want to add to that?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think we're in the middle of a process here. The requirements were recently changed in the bylaws to be 1 or 2 years. And I think Elizabeth was part of that with Comdax to get the National Council to make that change. But not all our chapters have been able to make that transition. So there are some chapters with a 2-year election cycle where they have members at large that have 4-year terms. I know this because currently my wife is on a chapter executive committee where she's got a 4-year term. And then there are some chapters like the one I'm a member of in Brooklyn. We have 3-year terms for 9 positions that are rotating as chapter members at large, but our officers are 1-year term. So I think we're in the middle of a transition, and I'm not sure that all of our documents are updated to reflect this, but the bylaws are. So that's where we stand.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know some of you may have heard me say this or read this in a newsletter, but I think it's great to have members at large if you give them a purpose. If you get them engaged, you just don't want to have them there sitting as members at large if they're not doing something. And this is a perfect way for you to begin your leadership pipeline. You can give them duties. You can say, why don't you trail the finance manager? Why don't you work with our hospitality committee or our registrar? These are the people that I hope you will think of down the line as replacing you. Because as I've said to many of you, this is not a life sentence. We don't want you to feel that way, though we're so grateful for your leadership. I really encourage you when you have several classes of members at large to give them responsibilities and tasks. And they'll feel, I think, more valued and more appreciated. Felicia, anything else in there that we should be answering?
Sure. We've got one more from Edwin Ackerman. What guidance can headquarters offer to chapters for getting permission to perform copyrighted music on chapter recitals and on chapter YouTube channels or other similar platforms? One license, CCLI, CCS, etc. have told me that they only support religious organizations. Do chapters have to contact every copyright holder to pay royalties and obtain permissions?
Eric? Would you be able to comment on this at all? I know this is a sticky subject.
I can try. We should assume that there is no such thing as a blanket license like churches can enjoy with CCLI. And the reason for that is that churches are normally using those licenses for public in-person worship services. So any religious service, there is no performance royalty, and the only thing they're wanting to do is to display text and music for either a printed program bulletin or a screen display for participation. So you do have to have a license to reprint. But for organizations that are not using these in public worship services, you need to do a separate license with each publisher. The only exception to that is that you can get a CCLI license for an event where you have several pieces and it is part of a worship event. Like if a chapter is doing a model worship service, you could call them up and explain what you're doing, and I think you might have a better result if that's what you're trying to do. But if it's just for a program where you want to reprint any kind of music, they're not going to be able to help chapters with that.
Thank you. Very, very much. Appreciate that. Have we come to the end, or do we have a few more comments, questions?
I think our very last question here was from Elizabeth Bailey, and she was looking for the substitute information and on-card. That substitute information is in the same spot it has always been, but when you're looking for the answers, you're going to download them from the export member data page, not on the member roster. They're in a separate spot. So I think that covers it for everybody who submitted questions to the chat. Thanks so much, everyone.
Well, thank you all for joining us on a new meeting software platform called Notified. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be using this for our town halls. And then we're going to have sort of Notified on steroids. We're going to be doing a 2-night, hour-and-a-half Leadership 2023 event. The dates have not been solidified, but it will be probably in February, and certainly not on the weekend of the Super Bowl. That much I can tell you. So in the meantime, you've gotten a face of the AGO. You know who we all are. If some of you didn't, I hope, I really hope you know where the chapter leader toolkits are now on our website and the resources that they can provide for you. But again, we're always here. Call the office. Any of us are happy to help you. So I'm going to say with that, thank you so very much for your leadership. You are the AGO. As Eileen said, you are the lifeline. We are a grassroots organization, and none of us in these little windows that you're seeing of staff would be here if you weren't here. So I want to thank you. I don't think we thank you enough. So thank you so very, very much for all that you do, all that you're continuing to do, and here's to a great year. So good night, everyone. Take care and be well.